Hi, Mark Gillan. I'm going to show you how to import data from a Microsoft Access database into Microsoft Excel. First of all, from a query that's been made within the database, and then from a database that's not had a query. So Microsoft Excel, just first of all, just to show you the database itself, what I have here is I've got a table of members, and within the members there's plenty of records there, as you can see. However, quite often what we want to do is we just want to take some data in. There's 324 records, and from that we maybe just want some records. So within Microsoft Access database there is a query having been done, and this is for anyone that's a youth, so it's between certain ages, who have joined after the date of the 1st of January 2010. Let's have a wee look at the query. That's the results of the query. So the query is date joined first greater than or later than 1st of January 2010, and the age at joining is less than 25. So as you can see, there's 19 records instead of the 320 odd records that are in the table. So instead of us bringing the whole table into Microsoft Excel, we only want to bring a small amount of them. So rather than us filtering and working within Excel, which we don't want, we only want some data. So to input that data, we're going to import it. Clicking on the Data tab takes us to the Data ribbon, where we can go to the Get External Data grouping on the left-hand side. From here, we've got the button there to get data from Access. So it's importing data from Microsoft Access database. What that would do is it would allow us to search for that data. I've got it inside a folder called Importing Data, and there it is with the query. So we'll open the link to that one there. What happens is it's come up and it's asking us what table. We can also enable a selection of multiple tables. So what we can do is if you have more than one table within a database and you want to bring more than one table of data into Excel, then we can do so. So for example, there's the relationship there between the members, and instead of it being a flat file database, we had another table there and we wanted to bring all the data itself into Excel, then we could do. We would just check that and we could bring everything in. However, in this instance, we've only got a flat file database, not ideal for as a database, but however, it's for this demonstration. So we could bring the table members in, or we've got the query here. Youth joined after 2010. So we click on that, and then we could bring it in as a pivot table or pivot chart. It's asking us where do you want to put the data, the dancing answer around cell A1, or we could put it into a new worksheet. Just a wee tip here as well, we do have the ability to work with the actual properties of the data, just to let you see that. So what we could do is we can give it a description as to this connection. Now, in the other video I did mention that we can actually import from various different places and have a connection, which an existing connection can then be refreshed as well. So we can have connections between data elsewhere and a worksheet or even a workbook. Now the usage here is how often do we want to refresh that data? How often do we want to bring that fresh data in? So that's the usage there. The definition is where the data actually exists, if there's a password for it, and also any commands and then the authentication services that we want to use for the connection so that there's a bit of security. We'll just take the defaults there anyway. We don't have to go into that. So now we'll just click on the OK button to bring it into cell A1. There is a button there to collapse so that we could click any other and that doesn't, and the dialog box doesn't get in the way. We've also then got a button there to expand back out again. So if I click on OK, what it's done is it's brought the data in from that query. That is now set as a connection there as well. What we have is the auto filter having been placed on the fields because the fields are designated within the Access database with all the properties and the attributes associated with that. Meaning that this will be in date form, short date, as per the database. We can format this any which way we want. What it has done is it's given us a table style by default here as well, making the data quite easier to see. And you'll see that there are 19 records there as we required. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you another means of importing data. What I'll do is I'll exit from this and I'll get a new fresh workbook for us. So this is us with a fresh workbook. So we're starting over again with a fresh book. There's no connection or anything, so I'm going to take you through another means of doing this. What if we have a database, such as the one which we've got here, which is the syndicate? I'm going to enable content, and we don't have any queries, there's no reports, there's nothing having been done with this data. Now again, it's a flat file database, not ideal as a database, but that's another course. 324 records, we don't want that amount of records. What we want is we want data associated with the age when they joined and also the date. So it's from that date. So again, we can do something similar. We don't have to do it exactly the same. I want to show you how we can actually use Microsoft Query. So Microsoft Query enables us to take data and then to designate what data and how we want to bring that into Excel. So I'll exit from the Access database and we'll just go back to Data tab again. So within the data ribbon, again, just the same, get external data. However, this time not from the Access database because it would only provide us with the ability to take that table in. This time what we're going to do is we're going to use Microsoft Query. So it's a new query and it's from a database, from a Microsoft Access database. You'll see the other availabilities that we spoke about in the other video as to the different types of files that we can import. Now this is actually a query on the file. You can combine queries and we can set the source from here as well. But this is the wizard that's going to help us. So it's from Access database. This does also work with other data sources. So as you can see there, we could have brought that in from the text files. We could also take it in from other delimited files and even from other workbooks and actually state what data we want to come from the query. So even as you'll see there nowadays, we can do it from various different places and we can combine them. So we'll keep it simple just now. So from database, from Microsoft Access database, this will take us into Microsoft Queries. So again, we'll locate the file. It's within my importing data. It's the database that doesn't have any query. So it's import. And what will happen now is it's connecting to that file. So what we've got is we've got the members table. What we can do from here is you do have the ability to load up other queries. So we can use queries that we've maybe used before and then just edit queries. So we have the ability to do that. So if we click on load, it's going to load it for us, and it brings all the data in for us. However, what we have is we've got the ability to actually edit that and to refresh. So if we click on Edit, it takes us into the query editor. So from here, what we have is we've got various filters. We've got various ways of grouping data, and we can even select columns, and we can manage everything from here. So you'll see here that the query, we can refresh it. We can manage columns. We can reduce the amount of rows. So we can say which rows we want, which ones we don't. We can sort. We can also use various different other settings here. However, what we want to do is we wanted to actually have the date joined. So let's do the date joined. So at the moment it's everything selected. What we could do is we could select all off, and we could tell it which precise dates that we wanted. Or in this instance, we're going to use a filter. So it's the advanced filters that we're working with now. So we see here that we have the ability to work with any filtering wording as we would do with filtering. So this one here was after. What we want to do is we want to actually work with the dates. So is after. We do have a calendar available to us. You can also type the date in as well, which I'm going to do. So it's 01/01/2010. So it's after that date. We do have the and or available to us in terms of the advanced filtering. And there's the advanced there as well, which will give us everything else that's available to us. But we'll just use these just now. So we click on OK, and that filters it down for us. So that's filtered it down to 96 rows. What we're going to do is we're going to do age at joining. And what we'll do is we'll make it lesser than 25 or equal to. Let's have it equal to as well. So we have it less than or equal to, or just less than. Oh, decide. So it is less than, I think we did the same before. We'll have a try 25 and click on OK. So that is what we did before. So it's 19 rows. It's shown you the alternative, the fact that we can do a Microsoft query within the query editor. And what we can do is we can narrow it right down. What you'll see here is that we can load and close. So it's close and then load, or we can close and load it to another sheet. If it was available to us, what we're doing is we're actually working with something that's already been filtered in place. So it's close and load. And what it does do is it then refreshes the data with that connection. So as you can see, we do have the availability to edit that. We can format that any which way we want, as we would do. Because a query has been done, it lets us know that the workbook queries has been operated. What it's doing is it's taken it in, and it's allowing us to work with a table there under the Table Tools design. We've also got query. So within the query, that will allow us, so what we could do is we could merge data. So from one query to another query, and we could merge the data. Or what we could do is we could do a slightly different plan. We could take data in and append it to this query. The refresh will refresh the data so it's live, so if the database changes, we can refresh that link there, just so that we are working with up-to-date information. Hopefully that helps you. You'll see the rest of the buttons there. Play around with it, give it a try. There's files available. Have fun. Thank you very much for watching this tutorial. Enjoy Microsoft Excel and queries. Thank you.